Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my corner of the multiverse. This is the Salty Goddess Podcast. I'm Margaret Perry, your hostess. Welcome to your hump day guilty pleasure. Please feel free to subscribe, download, share, follow, and hit me up on all our social media handles. What are we going to discuss today? Well, there's a lot to talk about. The year is coming to an end. Oh my gosh, we've only got a couple days until Pie Week begins. Yep, that's what I call it, y'all. Pie Week. Okay, everybody else is all about the turkey, the dressing, and the mashed potatoes, but I'm all about the pie. Any kind of pie. Minced meat, pecan, you name it. I like it. Cherry, mixed berry, apple, grape. Pie is the best. So starting on Sunday, I start Pie Week. So as we're getting ready to round out the end of 2025 and look forward to 2026, what are we going to set as some goals? I've got a list, believe it or not, got a whole list. But the most important one is for you to gain confidence. Now, we've been talking a lot about confidence, and I love to create confidence in people's competence. That's my goal for all of my friends and listeners. So, why is confidence so important? Because confidence is authenticity. Okay? Think about when you maybe first learned to ride a bicycle. You had some training wheels. You had your mom, your dad, or your big brother or sister helping you along. And then eventually the training wheels disappeared as you learned how to balance on, I don't know, how wide is a bicycle tire? Like a couple inches? And once you gained the skill to stay balanced and the training wheels were off, you gained confidence. And that confidence is what allows you to continue riding your bicycle. If you were unsure of yourself, you'd be shaky and you might tip over. For everyday events, everything that we do, we build confidence. Think back to the first time you were learning to do anything at all. And it was a little disconcerting, not knowing the ins and the outs, starting a new job, all right? Learning to run a cash register at McDonald's at your first job. If that was your first job, I don't know. The very first time you did anything, tied your shoes by yourself, we are all in a place of beginning. We're all in a place of learning. Now, some individuals will choose to not learn after a certain age. That's their choice. It's their life. You do you, boo. But some of us want to learn forever and keep learning and challenge ourselves. And we're not intimidated by being the new person in the room. So building confidence also allows you to be that person that's brand new in a room and be young, be old, doesn't matter. And know that by the time you get done learning, you're going to be confident about a number of things you weren't confident about before you entered the room. Does that make sense? I remember first going to EMT school and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to learn all the information in this, 400-page book. And by the end of the class, I was like, okay, all right, I've digested what's in that book. I think I know this part. Of course, as you know, in medicine, there's two parts to learning, which is one, book learning, and then hands-on learning. So psychomotor, cognitive, and then psychomotor. So you have to learn how to manipulate equipment. I had some great educators. And the interesting thing is, did I make mistakes? I made a lot of mistakes, a ton of them. I remember one of my first lab instructors. I killed my first patient. It was a lab patient, understand, like that wasn't for real, okay, that I'm admitting to. I can neither confirm nor deny your allegations at this time for all those other listeners that don't really subscribe, NSA, stuff like that, okay? Now listen, I didn't open the patient's airway. So my patient, unfortunately, succumbed to respiratory arrest, then cardiac arrest, because I forgot one piece. And I remember going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And the lab instructor said to me, you will never forget airway again. I promise you, after what just happened. And he was 100% correct. Okay. Then later in the class, we were outside and approaching a vehicle that had occupants in it. And we were supposed to be like taking care of this patient. This looked like a motor vehicle collision. Well, I ended up getting shot and killed because I didn't realize there was a danger in the vehicle and that it was really a domestic violence situation. So do you think that now, if I'm approaching a vehicle and the driver seems to be irate, that I might take a step back because I learned and now I've gained confidence in what I'm doing and I understand that there's other things. No one person knows everything. It's impossible. There are a lot of people that know a lot of things. There's a lot of people out there that bullshit what they know. They don't know diddly shit about nothing, but they do a great job at faking it. But I want to also explain to you that confidence and ego do not exist together. They can't. Your ego is what stands in line and handles the situation when you're not confident. Now, that's not to say that every moment of every day you're confident about every single thing, because that's not true. No one is. No one is confident 24/7, 365. We all have moments of doubt, insecurity, confusion, you name it. We all go through that. However, we don't allow those feelings to get in our way of moving forward. So that's where ego comes into play a little bit, all right? But your confidence is what literally rules the day. They cannot exist side by side together in the same person at the same time. So let me give you another example, okay? You walk into a room and someone that you barely know approaches you and says, oh, I heard you're the company screw up. I heard you don't do this right, don't do that right. Now, your ego might jump in. If you are run by your ego, you get mad, pissed off, try to set the person straight. You don't even know this person. They don't know you. How do they know? Maybe it's a rumor. Maybe they're just saying it. Who knows? If you are confident in your worth, your value, what you bring to the table, what you are, you don't give a shit what some unknown person thinks about you. Because, as I've said in the past, they don't necessarily have all the facts. They might have erroneous information from which they're making their decision about or casting their opinion about. So does their opinion have value? It can't. So why waste your time worrying about what they think? What? Why? There's no reason No reason to worry about what they think about you. It's actually really none of your business what somebody thinks about you. But just remember, if they are not a part of your day-to-day life, but they're basing an opinion or they're making an opinion based on erroneous information, their opinion just at the get-go is erroneous. And their opinion of you has zero effect on your worth. That's how this is. So there is no reason to defend, try to change their mind, or give them accurate information. Your circle of individuals, which, as we've discussed in previous podcasts, is the only thing you should be concerning yourself with. Your spouse, your mate, your partner, your children, your siblings, the people that you do your day-to-day with. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, what about my boss? Just remember something. Your boss evaluates your work product, your body of work, your efforts at work, one particular piece. That is a different situation, right? Obviously, it's important that your boss knows your value. And sometimes you may need to speak up to your boss. But I am talking about in your day-to-day, everyday life. Do you associate with work people outside of work? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But then they move from being your colleague to maybe being a friend. Or, maybe they're just in a group and you all get together and play Dungeons and Dragons, or you all get together and go to concerts or sporting events or things like that. If they're not in that inner circle, it does not matter their opinion of you. So don't spend your time and your energy working on making sure that every single person you come across knows your value the way that you know your value. It's really, honestly and truly no different than thinking that you're going to change someone's religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, political beliefs, okay? Because you're not. Do you get on social media and argue with people about politics? Why? You're not going to change anybody's mind. You're not. Very, very rarely will you change someone's mind. They've already been indoctrinated by their circle of friends. And truly, most of the people that jaw jack on social media about religion and politics and hot button topics, they're less than 20% of the entire population. They get the biggest platforms because their stuff gets shared the most and things like that. And that's just because it triggers an emotion. They are not the majority of the people that are on this planet. The majority of the people on the planet know their belief system. Their inner circle knows their belief system, and they cannot be bothered to get online and waste time trying to change other people's opinions. I won't argue with people online. I will read some of the wild, wacky shit y'all post, and then I get a good laugh out of it. And I may use some of the shit you post to debate or to discuss with my inner circle. Like I was on like the face of books, and this guy or this woman said, is this not the wackest shit you've ever fucking heard in your life? So I may use it for fodder in a conversation to point out just how extreme some individuals are, and that they really are outliers. But they're the ones with the voice. The people in the middle, they don't give a shit. They know what they believe. They vote what they believe. And they don't need to go out there and explain to other people who they are, what they are. Honestly, my political beliefs, my religious beliefs, they're none of your fucking business anyway. So don't ask me, because that's disrespectful. Would you walk up to somebody and ask them how much money they make? It's none of their fucking business. So people get to be keyboard warriors and say all kinds of wild, wacky shit from behind a keyboard. But if they were standing toe to toe with you, they wouldn't make those comments. Trust me, they wouldn't make those comments. So that's how you gauge whether or not what they're saying online is even worth responding to. You know, who cares? I don't discuss religion, money, politics, really with anyone. And actually, even in a book of etiquette that was written by Emily Post, states those conversations should not even come up like at dinner parties. Nothing like that should be discussed because it's uncomfortable for people. So somewhere along the line, being behind a keyboard has made a lot of people forget their etiquette. And I've actually been considering making like a, etiquette for dummies book, or honestly, an etiquette for you jackholes that just do stupid shit and talk extreme fringe shit online everywhere and have an opinion about everybody and everything. People's weight, people's looks, people's clothes. If you're not fucking them, funding them, or feeding them, shut your mouth. It ain't none of your business. That's all there is to that. So moving on. So let's build that confidence as we look to 2026. Try to be less in your ego and more in your confidence. Confidence isn't loud. I know you guys have heard that. It's been all over the internet. Confidence isn't loud. It's quiet resolve. It is individuals who don't have to thump their chest like King Kong. Oh, look at me. Look what I can do. Okay, no, that never ends well, by the way. It's literally almost tantamount to, here, hold my beer. Let me show you what I got going on over here. And it usually is an epic fail. So your confidence comes from within. And as you gain knowledge and you gain all of your skills and your abilities and your understanding. So that's what I'm looking forward to for 2026, is helping people build their confidence in their competence. All right. It's extremely, extremely important for you because that's your next evolution. It's your next evolution. Now, to be confident, what do you need to be confident? I will tell you that if you want to be confident, you cannot afford to be afraid of what you fear. And most individuals fear the unknown and failure. So think about embarking upon a new set of skills that you'd like to acquire. That's the unknown, right? You don't know that skill. You haven't encountered it. Now you're going to have to. So you have knowledge deficits. What you don't know is what you fear. And failure. You're embarking on something. Maybe you've told people, I want to learn how to oil paint. And then you try it and you realize, oh my God, I suck. Have you failed? No, you've actually learned a few things about yourself, whether or not you're good at something, whether or not you have skill in something. That's never a bad thing. But maybe you enjoy it. Maybe it's a stress relief. So you continue to engage in it. Or maybe you go, I really do suck. Maybe I just need a couple more classes. Because I promise you, the only failure in anything is really when you quit. That's it. Moving forward. Forward always. Always forward. Always. I firmly, absolutely believe in that. And you've heard me talk 1.5 million times about my dad and the things that he said to me. And there were a number of things that he said to me. And when I reflect on them, sometimes I think to myself, Wow, it's really freaking profound. But what he was doing in many of the things that he said to me was helping me to build my confidence. And I was very young, single digits, when he said to me, after I was frustrated about something, I couldn't get something, pretty sure it was something in math or science. And my father said to me, you can do anything you put your mind to. Your mind is your strongest asset, but it is also your biggest stumbling block. So get out of your own way. You can do anything you put your mind to. And through the years, when I was confronted with an obstacle or a barrier, instead of thinking it was the end of the road, I reflected on what was said to me. And what was said to me was, you can find a workaround. You can find a way. You can find a way to make this happen for you somehow. That is what I get to whenever I feel challenged. Whenever I feel like there's a barrier impeding my progress, it is just to learn something else. That means that statement to me when I was about 8 or maybe 9, it was probably 8 though, that has stayed with me forever, like 50 years. Now, were there times that I was confident that I was going to find a workaround? Sometimes you doubt that. But then it makes you think. It makes your brain look at other options and other things so that you can find that workaround. And then each time you find a workaround and you're successful, that is another piece of brick in the wall of confidence. So the only way you're going to build that confidence is to continue to work on it and to work towards those goals. And when I'm talking to individuals about like weight loss, we start out, listen, I've had a couple patients that have needed to lose more than 100 pounds. And I say to them right off the bat, like, snap your fingers. What weight would you be? If you could be any weight, what would it be? And they give me a number. And I said, we're going to start on the first part of that. And as they reach those goals, it builds momentum. And that is how I felt every time I was challenged, that I found a way to navigate a barrier or an obstacle. It built confidence that I was like, yeah, I'm going to be able to, the next one that comes up, fuck, no problem. I got this shit. It builds and builds and builds. And then that self-doubt kind of just washes away. Now, does that mean that I found my way around each of those obstacles on my own? No, I did not. Often, I had someone I could reach out to for advice, maybe, or maybe they had a different perspective so that I would be able to build that workaround. So I give credit to all those people that answered my wacky questions at 2 a.m. that, listened to me bitch about something I was having a problem with. And just one little statement from them, maybe the light bulb went on. And can I just tell you that sometimes I didn't even realize that you were the one that helped me to flip that light bulb. So just so you know, there's probably a ton of you out there that deserve a huge ass thank you card. Handwritten, of course. Okay. And cursive. All right. Seriously. Sometimes it was something as simple as what one of my grandkids would say to me. Or, a perspective of seeing things from someone else's point of view. So don't be afraid to use someone as a sounding board. Don't be afraid to try to look at different perspectives. That's that framing. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes just reframing the situation is all you need to do. And a lot of us can't get out of our own way and reframe. And it is an exercise. You have to practice that. We are often, especially in our like young adult, up to middle age, we are often very narrow-minded and only see things from one perspective, which is our lived experience. Friends, cut that shit out. There are so many other experiences, so many other paths, so many other things and ways that you can look at something instead of through your own myopic, narrow-minded, closed-minded way. All right? Don't wait until you're in your late 40s to figure that shit out. That your lived experience is not everyone else's lived experience. Because it's not. And so I've spoken in the past about perspective in that photograph of Prince William after Prince Louis was born and him raising his hand. A photo was taken from the front of him and one from the right side of him. The right side looked like he was throwing somebody the finger. The front view, he's holding up his pinky ring and middle finger to say, I've got 3 now. Can you believe I've got 3 kids? Yeah, trust me, William, I can believe it. I've got 6, man, okay? But anyway, so it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. And in this last part, I want to tell you something because I've been hearing a ton of this recently on social media and open conversation dialogue with patients and colleagues. Stop looking at the shit that's posted and the photos that are online and think that everybody lives this perfect, dust-free, polished life. Because I'm going to tell you, it's all about framing that photo that gets posted. Do you think somebody posts the picture of when they rolled over and got out of bed in the morning? No, they didn't. They waited till they took a shower, moisturized and did their hair. And I'm talking about women and men because men should be moisturizing too. You don't want no crow's feet. Yeah. So just remember that. Just remember that maybe they bring the camera in closer so they're mostly in the frame and you can't see the 12 loads of laundry sitting on the sofa. Okay? Or the dirty dishes in the kitchen sink. Trust me. We nicknamed that platform Fake Book for a reason. These are all pictures, for the most part, where they are definitely looking at the photo before it's posted to make sure that every angle is right. Every angle is perfect, that you don't see anything out of place. Everything looks so neat and awesome. And I'm going to tell you that come in 2026, video of this podcast will be on YouTube. And what you're going to see is a cultivated look behind me and bookshelves and plants and everything looks hunky-dory. You won't be able to see the desktop. For all you know, there could be empty candy wrappers, trash. But it'll be curated so that when you're looking, it's pleasant to the eye and you're not like, ooh, Aunt Margaret, did you dust this week? Did you, are your plants watered? Just know that people online are absolutely curating those photos. If they're not even AI generated, that's the other thing. Love AI. It's super useful, helps me get a lot of things done very, very quickly, organizing, workflow, automation, that kind of shit. It's great. But when you want to connect with someone, Fake Book ain't the way. It's not. All right. So just remember that. Do not compare yourself to anyone else but yourself of yesterday, yourself of this morning. Do you understand what I mean? We're all in the same race, but we're all in different boats and we're all at different starting points. So let's agree that we're all excited about Pie Week. Just a couple days away. I'm so excited. And if you do nothing else this week, start working on building your confidence. All right, my friends, this is the Salty Goddess Podcast. I'm Margaret Perry. Thanks for coming to my corner of the multiverse yet once again. Be sure to follow us, subscribe, download, and send me all those messages. Stay salty, stay strong, and everybody get some sweatpants or something for next week because we're all going to need it. We're all going to be gaining a couple pounds eating all that pie. Have a great week, y'all.